Yo, it's your boy Dizzy, man. You already know it's not about the setback. It's about the get back. I want to appreciate everyone that's became a member, that subscribed to the channel, and that watches the channel. I appreciate y'all. If you haven't already, hit that notification bell. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we go live. I appreciate all of y'all that rock with me, and I hope y'all continue to rock with me. Fam, what's poppin', man? Well, Oprah says she never been to a Diddy party. TD Jakes says he was only there for 30 minutes. Check this out, man. I want to know what y'all think about this, man. Because him saying he only been there for 30 minutes one time. What y'all think about this, though, man?
First of all, I have never been near a Puff party. Never been near. And anybody who knows me knows if there is a party, I'm the first one out.
Right.
I'm the first one out.
But people love salacious stories.
Yeah.
They love salacious stories. And you can tell them stories about you feeding those girls in South Africa.
They don't want to hear about that. Right.
They don't want to hear about that at all. If you tell them about Puffy's biceps, they want to follow you all the way around the world. And I think it's because we have become so engrossed in other people's lives to keep from having our own. We are drunk off of things that don't matter to distract us from the things that do matter.
Preach this evening, yes.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
I know.
And if you watch the timing of it, the intoxicant always comes out while something big is happening that we need to be paying attention to. And we pay it no attention because we are engrossed in counting up something that is salacious and not true. And not true.
You're not true.
And I stopped by Puffy's house for 30 minutes to say happy birthday to him during the day at 2 o'clock with staff people. And out of that came a love affair and all kinds of stuff that I have never seen.
You too?
Yes.
Yes, you too.
Yes. We were sharing the same, let's get your finger on there. You can't fight it.
You can't fight it.
You can't sue it down. You can't tear it down because of a small law that is included in the way that our laws are written right now. And our people don't know that. And not only do they not know it, they help spread it.
Absolutely.
They help spread it. They help spread it. Now, I'm almost 70 years old. What do I look like? And I am a grandfather. What do I look like at this late date? You know, but that's the kind of world that we're living in.
TD said he was only there for 30 minutes, man. That's it. 30 minutes and he was out. Let me know what y'all think about that, man. 30 minutes and he was out of there. Man. I don't know about that one, man. What is the pastor doing at a Diddy's party? You know, Diddy party was out of control. There was a lot going on there, man. And it was known for a lot of backdoor stuff going on. But this where he said he was at, man. I don't know, man. But if y'all feel that he telling the truth, I want you to let me know about that, man. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for me too. And hit that like button. You know I appreciate all of y'all. Facts. I appreciate all y'all. I ain't going for it though. Not me. You know. I ain't going for that one. Definitely. Why would he go? Why would he go to a Diddy party, man? Yeah. I think those people at the top level feel like they can say whatever they want and people just gotta go with it. Straight up. They can say whatever they want and the people gotta go with it because they got the money. And then they come together and try to make a statement about something and feel like we powerful. So ain't too much nobody can do until you got somebody around them that's out. That's when they change everything. They don't feel it the same way. You hear me? That's when they want to change everything up, man. But TD Jakes is a pastor. What is you hanging out at Puff's parties? That right there definitely got me looking. Like, what would you be at one of Puff party for? Everybody says the parties was drinking, smoking, popping, everybody taking their clothes off. Why would you go to one of them? Facts. Why would you go to one of them? Straight up. You supposed to be preaching the word. We supposed to get the word from you. That's it. In his 60s. Yeah, man. I don't buy it. Not me. Some people might buy it, but I don't buy that one at all, man. Facts. And I think he know everybody ain't buying it, But I guess Oprah backing him, it make it sound like it's solid. Oprah say, yo, they saying me too. Man, y'all human. That's right there gets me. Because people that are public figures try to make it seem like they don't do things that people that don't have money would do. You don't know what type of person you dealing with in life, because anybody's capable of doing anything. But they make it seem like the people that people are looking up to, they don't do no wrong. So it's like shocking when those people are in those situations. It's a surprise. No, they would never do this. No, they would never go there. Nah, man. But we see he couldn't deny it. That's the thing. He couldn't deny it that he was there, but he said 30 minutes. So in that 30 minutes, what did you do? You just grabbed a bite to eat and you greeted everybody and you left. You knew it was 30 minutes. You sure it wasn't 2 hours and 30 minutes? Or you just say 30 minutes? And yeah, it was kind of crazy though when that stuff started coming out about Puff. He had some issues going on. And from the stuff that I be seeing, man, I really don't trust anybody that is in position. I really look at it like the people that's in position, they got to do certain things to get there. They not allowing you to have the position without you indulging in something to get the position. You gotta be involved in something, because there's people out here that can do the same things that we see other people do that's in position. But it's like these people be handpicked to be there. Now, you know, some of them put work in. Yeah. But you handpicked to put that work in. They single you out, put you out there. Okay. You was grinding, yes. But what made them specifically pick you? And then it's like they disconnect from the people. They totally disconnect from the people. And it's only a selective few that is in position that you see still be in tune with the people. Most of the time, they disconnect with the people. You know, they don't want no association from what they came from. And you really don't see them dealing with what they came from. But the game that they're involved in, that they play with, I think it put them in the position. That's what I think. You know, a lot of people have talent, and a lot of people really don't go nowhere. We even see with the music, people that got talent, they don't go nowhere. It's the people that do certain things to get somewhere. You can have somebody that's fire, that can rap, sing, do their thing, but they don't get the notoriety as somebody that you might feel is elementary with it. You'll see them and you be like, this person got picked over this person. But I think it's agendas from the people that put the people in position that they definitely fulfill. They got an agenda, you know. And if you buck the system and you like, man, I ain't doing this and I'm not going with this and I ain't with that, then they be like, all right, and you just fade out the picture. But if you come in the picture and you able to go with the flow and give control, allow people to basically run your life, then you elevating the game. You gotta let other people run your life, because they gotta make something off of what you doing. And I agree. You gotta be willing to sell out. I agree with that. Other people gotta be making it off of you in order for you to elevate. You can't just put it together and then people notice you and then you are in position. No, people gotta have you under a contract to elevate off you. People that pull work in don't talk openly this much, period. If they smart, just me, the outside looking in. You said people that pull work in don't talk openly this much. Now, what you mean when you say that? Let me know what you mean when you say that. Because I see the people that get put in position, they be put there. Because there's people that can do the same thing that TD can do, Oprah can do, and they don't get the same light. It's people that can do this. It's billions of people in the world. They handpick. Straight up. They handpick. They straight handpick, man. And I feel like people are handpicked, man. You gotta be going with the flow with certain things. If you ain't going with the flow and allowing other people to control what's going on and what you doing, man, you ain't gonna make it that far. You might make it somewhere. I think when they see you growing, they gonna come see you. Straight up. They gonna come see you and say, listen, we see something in you and we're willing to help you and we can help you. But we think you should do it this way, right? And if you rebel and say, I'm not doing it this way, I don't want to do it that way, I want to do it this way, I think they be like, all right, cool. That's what you want to do? No problem. It's cool. All right. Well, we'll get back to you. And then things just start going down for you. Whereas though, if they step to you on that note and you be like, all right, what I got to do? They start putting things in front of you. Whereas though, you got to be willing to go with the flow and then they going to boost you up. That's when they going to boost you up. But if you buck the system, because I think the system is controlled a certain way, especially if you want to be on the top level, it's controlled a certain way and you got to go with the flow, man. You know, it's why when we look at how Wack 100 is, he's all cap with it. Like, it's all cap, but the way that he's running his game through the system is controlled. You know, you hear how Aaron the plumber say, man, Wack is supposed to have a warrant, and I guess, you know, his warrant just go away. Like, shit like that. Because he's controlled a certain way, and he's doing what's beneficial to them. Whereas though he's running his game, getting people lined up, doing what he's doing, and they making sure that he's here to do it. And he does it, you know, without a care in the world. Straight up. He don't care. We see all kinds of stuff going on, man. He in the middle of so many different things, but at the same time, he's cocky. And he like, man, he ain't going nowhere. Straight up. If you haven't hit that like button, man, smash that like button for me. I appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. I just think that it's certain protocol that you gotta make sure that, you know, you do. Because, you know, when Wack called in, he said, man, you don't know what you'll have to do because you ain't there yet to get there. And I think he's already, you know, experienced those type of things, being there, and the people having him do what he's doing now to stay there. If you don't go with the program and do what we want you to do, what we expect of you, think we're gonna get you out of there. Straight up. Straight up. We're gonna get you out of there. If you don't do what we expect of you, you gotta go. And I think, you know, that's how they operate, man. Facts. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, man, hit the subscribe button, man. Smash the like button for me, man. Smash the like button so you know we can get this thing around the algorithm, man. But they be all cap. Facts. They be all cap, man. And the program is set up a certain way. You know, it's set up a certain way. You see. You know, I appreciate all y'all facts. No cap. You know, I appreciate all y'all. For real. Let me see. Let me see here. Hold up. Let me see. There was something I was trying to say. Where the boy was saying, let's see what he said here. Let's see what Wack said here about this one right here, man. Smash the subscribe button for me too. Hit that like button. Let's get the likes up.
We also have to discuss. So over the weekend, Seti Nash, who is from Sacramento, you were actually the person who alerted me to this.
I talked to him.
He brought Little Woody to Rolling 60s territory. I don't think that he thought that this was a big deal, and it seemed like everybody that he brought Lil Woody around was just as happy. You know, they definitely weren't looking at Woody as a snitch. They were looking at him as, this is the funny motherfucker from the YSL trial and all these 20 versus 1s. They were happy to have him there. Once they leave,
the internet
starts talking. Eventually, Seti Nash is forced to issue an apology for bringing Woody there. So then he ends up calling into the No Jumper show, at which point somehow we end up politicking about the video from the news of Seti Nash allegedly spilling the beans about somebody. Seti Nash really came with a bunch of excuses that to us, well, I mean, regardless of if I believe them or not, it left the entire room laughing their asses off. Everybody was dying at the idea of him being a, a crisis actor.
So here's the thing. I talked to Seti.
Okay.
I waited a couple days to go by and I called him. Mm-hmm. I like Seti. He all right dude with me. He didn't say some bullshit about me, but he all right, right? Mm-hmm. And you can't, Seti's from Sacramento, lives in Atlanta, and he claims Rolling 60s. Mm-hmm. Therefore, he don't have the right rank or the respect to dictate or call nothing. Right? It's one thing if Seti was running around Wilshire or Hollywood with Woody. They were in the heart of the 60s with real Rolling 60s. You get what I'm saying? So at this point in time, it's no longer on Seti. Now, for what Seti told me, he said dudes was clout chasing and Woody wasn't even supposed to go over there. They wanted to take him over there. He said they called him when the internet went crazy and told him to come back because now they're getting calls from them people that don't understand the internet, right? So they forced Seti to go back over there. Now, from what Seti tell me, and I'm in shock, he said one of the dudes that kept talking, who was one of the main dudes that wanted to bring Woody over there, knowing Woody's situation, right? Seti told him, well, you want to get out? We can get out and run the fade. They say dude didn't want to run the fade, which is a little different for that neighborhood because at that point in time, it's a pack out that's going to happen. Now, Woody, how it's supposed to went when he went over there, he should be mad at Seti right now a little bit because they would have supposed been stripped, stomped out, marked out, and sent on the way. But the fact that it was a couple days before they hood day, and it's so much that's been going on over there with all the indictments and RICOs and all that, it just killed more of the morale of what that stands for. But who it was a good look for was Woody. I'm telling all y'all right now, Woody is the top rat, king rat. You can't nobody say nothing to him. And me and Woody FaceTime. I talk to Woody. We talk crazy to each other. I call him rats. He calls me things, and then we do our little thing and we get off the line. But the fact that he had the heart and the balls to even get in that car and allow himself to be transported over there with his jewelry on, with his money in his pocket. Hey, listen, I think Woody should get rat immunity.
From the streets.
From the streets.
Well, it feels like he mostly has.
Yeah, he should get.
'Cause he's really outside.
Well, Atlanta, he's outside.
Right, yeah.
He's quieting up, doing what he's doing. And I seen him. He started a car wash in a gardening business that he's personally coming to do. He's telling you, call this number, me and my boys coming to clean cars, my money getting low. So it ain't like you can't bait him in somewhere. He ain't hiding from nobody. So far as I'm concerned, Woody gets rat immunity.
Okay, but here's a very
From the
important
streets.
question.
That's it.
So-
He earned it.
Is Woody going to the 60s? Is that controversial because it's just a bad look for the set to be associated with somebody who has been a high profile witness in this case? Or is it controversial because of the actual practical reality that this dude could see something illegal going on there and then could communicate with law enforcement about it? Because I saw some people who seemed more concerned about that option, that who knows. And from my perspective, you go to somebody's hood, you're not getting exposed to anything aside from maybe seeing a gun sticking out of somebody's waistline. Maybe somebody's got some personal amount of drugs or whatever, but it's not like I highly doubt Woody was exposed to anything
Or
significant.
maybe you got a camera in your medallion, or maybe you got a listening device on. All of the above.
Okay.
Everything you said, all of the above. But again, shout out to my boy Troy Ave. The streets is a myth. Now, Seti, on the other hand, had to tell him, Seti, I want to hear it. What you mean, Wack? Oh, no. I sit down, do an interview with 6ix9ine. Everybody got a lot to say. Now, you say this is your friend. You do business with him, right? So help me understand it. He said, no, Wack, I get where you coming from. Right now, this other thing you talking about, said he sent me paperwork and documents and tried to explain. And I told him, if you gave any statements to law enforcement about a description or whereabouts, about gunshots and what direction they might have ran, you in violation if that's what happened. Because now you just told them where to go check for cameras. See, everywhere we go now, you on camera.
Right.
Right? So if you did any of that, but that's why when you said you was addressing it, and it's funny because I seen it this morning, something popped up this morning of him explaining this. So actually he was sitting with you in this one. So I think you've been on him for a while about it.
Yeah, I did ask him about it in an interview a little while back, but I don't even honestly remember what his thing was. But there's another YouTuber named Byron Blake who I wasn't originally familiar with.
That's A-Verb's guy.
Okay, but last night I ended up watching a video. He made a whole series of videos about SETI, and he has gone a bit deeper and has found other situations that he believes makes SETI a rat.
Maybe we need
outside
to
of the
bring
news.
SETI and Byron in.
Where's Byron live?
I believe he's out of St. Louis, but I can call my brother A-Verb.
Okay.
I can call A-Verb. Remember I put the fire out between Hitman Holland.
Man, that shit just like rats talking about rats, man. Hold up. Let me see. Okay, somebody sent me something where it says Wack said Big U's son said to Big U's son said Wack had something to do with allegedly. Let me see, hold on. Let me make sure that's right. Hold on, let me pull this up now. Smash that subscribe button, hit that like button for me too.
Have you ever seen these guys?
Let me see. Somebody sent me this too.
Do you know? Have you ever seen these guys like Loose Cannon and Brick Baby around?
Nah, I ran into Brick like at a show, like a Young Thug show, or like a pop-up clothing store or Melrose. But like Loose Cannon, I never met that nigga in my entire life. I've only seen Brick Baby through Passmate once or twice in my entire life. I don't really know these dudes like that.
And
this is Big U's son.
now Wack 100
I mean, I knew Wack. I knew Wack because Wack was friends with my dad, and I got my own feelings about that dude. I felt like there was a time where it was just all these different rumors going around, and it involved me, and it seemed like it always would get to my dad, but it would always come from Wack 100. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I kind of like didn't stop fucking with him, because he never personally did anything to me. I actually never had a problem. That was my aunt. Like, you know, he knew me from high school. Like, I didn't even know that him and my dad had beef. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even know that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but I had my own feelings about him because of certain situations that happened that I had nothing to do with. Like, I remember Chris Brown got robbed, and shit, my name was thrown in the mix. Yeah, my name was thrown in the mix, and my dad had called me like, yeah, such and such told Wack 100, and Wack 100 told me that you robbed Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? So it's like shit like that, to where I'm like, man, what? So naturally, anybody be like, man, fuck Wack 100, because he lying. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, that was like, realistically, that's really what happened. Like, and then it was like something else that had happened, and then Wack had called my dad, and it was like some more shit about Lil U that was not so far from the truth, because I wasn't even in LA, and I don't even fuck around with people like that. So it was just like shit like that, to where shit just kept popping up with my name involved in it, and it sounded like it just kept coming from him. And then my dad, he would tell my dad, and my dad would be bitching at me about it.
So Wack 100 is saying that he had something to do with robbing Chris Brown. And you know, Wack is always in the middle of everything. And we all know he cap a lot. He ain't got no problem with lying on nobody. But he's saying the man had something to do with robbing Chris Brown. And the dude saying he ain't had nothing to do with it. He was going at Big U so hard, he didn't care about destroying anybody's character around him, even if it was his son. You know, one point, Wack would act like it was all good, and he helped Big U's kids. But then the next minute, you know, he talking about them. I don't care about them. So, you know, he real wishy-washy.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where it was just like, that's why I be like, this shit crazy, because it be the same niggas that was in cahoots. Now y'all niggas is beefing. You know what I'm saying? And I just be feeling like I just want to separate myself from all that shit, because hey, nigga, y'all was in cahoots at one time, and I was on the outside. Leave me on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Leave me on the outside. When you niggas would get together and be having y'all little politics sessions at y'all little round table, nigga, leave me the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those situations where it's like, I could have told you these niggas was weird. You don't listen to me. So, yeah, the fuck?
So, Big U's son, the new Wack, was running with Big U, and they all was, you know, getting down together. And Wack done flipped on everybody. Wack done, you know, started working and flipped on everybody. Yeah, don't care about none of them dudes. And you see how he said with AD, you can become a casualty of war. Don't care about nobody. Yeah, don't care about nobody. Facts. Yeah, man. Don't care about nobody. Kia. Yeah, he don't care about nobody, man. Dirty player. Yeah, dirty player. Dirty player. Yeah. Dirty player, man. Smash that like button for me too. Straight up, smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. You know I appreciate y'all. Dirty player.
Everybody is pulling up to everybody else.
Let me see. Yeah. Dirty player.
Else's neighborhoods.
Pulling up to some seat.
LA is in a state of
Here's the
turmoil.
thing with me, right? And I'm gonna say this. Pulling up to somebody's neighborhood, right? If you're on that top of time and videotaping yourself pulling up to the neighborhood tells me you just on some bozo shit.
Some clout
Because
chasing.
when we pulled up to somebody's neighborhood on that top of time, we went through the streets and we went to the blocks where they at. And if we didn't see that person, then we left a little reminder that we pulled up in the neighborhood.
By killing a random person.
I mean, no, I ain't no random. It's like, you know, you got to remember, I'm always guilty of being where I'm from every day.
Okay.
Right? So when you clout chasing like that, now what happens is now you have gotten attention of the neighborhood, right? More Extra's neighborhood is way bigger than him. He's a molecule when it comes to what that neighborhood stands for and how deep it is. It's more people that don't understand the internet over there that do. So now you get the penitentiary phones calling. You get the dudes in the streets that don't even know how to work their phone saying who's this, who is that. And this is why I'm getting calls from people's neighborhoods saying, look, Wack, we ain't looking for these type of issues because we already got our own issues where we at, right? We ain't got no issues with these people, but we know this dude is representing what we representing.
Wack always said he getting a call from these people over the neighborhood. Like, I know he be capping, because what is he going to do and he can't even go to the neighborhood if somebody from the neighborhood is calling him saying anything? Ain't nothing he can do. He can't pull up and de-escalate nothing. He can't stop a fire if it gets started. What are you gonna do?
Can you put me on the phone with these people over there? And that's what I've been doing for the last week or so because it makes no sense.
So everybody knows that this man is working. And I can't see it, but I don't know, because it's a lot of people that don't got common sense. But why would somebody allow Wack to put him on the phone with somebody to talk about something that is going on in the neighborhood when everybody knows the man's phone is tapped? That there, I don't get that. Everybody knows this man's phone is tapped. Why are y'all gonna get on the phone with him? So that there, it give me the thought, like, why would you want to get on the phone with Wack? Straight up. Why would you want to get on the phone with Wack? I don't want to get on the phone and I know damn well the man's phone is tapped. Like, hold up. Everybody know the phone tapped. So you saying people just, you putting people on the phone that got beef out there in the street to try to discuss the beef when everybody know your phone tapped? You got to be a crazy dude to get on that phone and allow him to put you on the phone with anybody.
Because people will do away games, right? Don't think because you over there, people won't drive over there and probably won't see you. But the chick that said they be on this block, when they don't see you, guess what they do? They wet the block. Now, is that worth trolling somebody in their neighborhood?
Right. Because
why didn't he just pull up and catch 4 extras here. If he catch 4 extras walking out there, or he pull up, 4 extras gonna give him a fade right there. 4 extras ain't that 4 extras gonna give him a fade. He just not giving him the promotional fade. If he run into 4 extras, right, he gonna give him a fight.
Okay, when I talked to King Pill about this yesterday, as you can probably tell, because his fake perks still on the table. Anyway, I was asking him about this and telling him, you know, you've really made this more serious than you probably intended to, because
You
now,
playing. You playing.
How am I playing?
Because
I was trying to set up a boxing match.
I'm gonna be real. I'll tell you how you playing. You go over there to a very prominent neighborhood, and they acknowledge you.
Where?
You acknowledge them.
What neighborhood are you talking about?
4 extra neighborhood.
Oh,
But Wack know he can't go. You know, he ain't pulling up. You know, he got to be mindful where he going. They know Adam is Adam, and they still let him out there. I don't know how they do this shit. But Wack know he better not go. And I think, you know, Wack be feeling some type of way knowing he can't go places and other people can. And he acting like he'll do you a favor by telling you not to go when, man, Adam don't care. From what we see, he going up out there.
okay.
Right? You did something ordinarily they don't let people do. Right? But, and I'm going to tell you, because I started to get the blame for it.
Why is somebody gonna blame Wack for Adam going out there? I tell you, Wack is always inserting himself in the situation. Why would somebody blame Wack? Come on, Wack, you can't go out there. How is somebody else allowed to go out there, something that you can't do, but you get the blame for it? That shit don't add up.
They really was saying, Wack, you got the Crips out the building and brought the Bloods in. I didn't know what they was talking about, because I didn't know that you had went to New York and I had no idea. You didn't even tell me you was doing that, right? I had no idea, right? So.
Now, this is a guy that claims he's not a gangbanger. And you're worried about people calling you saying, yo, you got the Crips out the building and let the Bloods in. It's like 1 minute he's gang this and gang that, and then the next minute, I'm not gang anything. I don't have anything to do with the gang. I don't gang bang. But the next minute, gang this and gang that. Are you associated with the Crips or the Bloods or nobody? You not banging? Which one is it? Or you not banging, but you still do Crips and Bloods favors to get them sent up the river?
Now they look up and they see you, and I know what you're doing. You just doing your little content thing and seeing if there's another character or personality to tap into, you know, to continue your business. That's your business. But now it's like the dude is disrespecting the spot that showed you love, you embracing that, right? So now what happens is 4 Extra starts to catch a little flack behind it. You don't see it because he's in street politics. This is why when I got called to say, hey, we want to come interview, hey, listen, homie, I got business with some of them people. I don't know why you doing what you doing. If you got an issue with 4 Extras, keep it right there. But for me being where I'm from, to sit you at my table means I'm stamping that your actions, and I don't agree with them.
Okay, so they went to the 40s after my trip to New York with King Pill and everything.
I understand that. But
so and King Pill was actually pretty upset with me because I told him that we couldn't post the video of his song if it included footage of him going to that neighborhood.
Definitely couldn't do it.
And that also that I wasn't going to be able to go to Pomona and do the video shoot in his neighborhood, which happened yesterday. I actually sent Lush.
That's respectful.
Crash Dummy Lush. I sent him to do it instead. And I guess everything went pretty well. And then they came and we did the interview afterwards. And King Pill, I mean, he stopped short of apologizing, but he definitely was trying to kind of explain things and make it as if like he was acting like, oh, when I went there, I didn't disrespect the 40s, I didn't disrespect 4Extra, etc. I'm like, bro, you were filming yourself with a gun in the car, and then you were in the neighborhood with red rags and everything and all this. Now, apparently he went to the wrong neighborhood. That's what a lot of people are saying, because I guess Smack was notified and pulled up right afterwards, and it's actually a park that is typically associated with the Hoovers.
Well, I don't know. All I do know is I believe they was in that neighborhood. It was just a street over from where they really be. I was a little bothered by G Uno because I'm like, G Uno, you already on your rebuild mission. Mm-hmm. You went to jail right when your spark was going, and you come home, dude ain't on your level with what you're doing as a rapper, but you're letting him drag you down there to the trolling, the stuff he feels he has to do to be acknowledged. Now, because you there, the phone is ringing. Now, we already got enough we all got to worry about. Right?
You know, Adam being involved in gang politics, knowing that he's not affiliated with no gang, that lets you know that the stuff is watered down. Real rap. That there lets you know that it's watered down. This is why it's easy to get an indictment. This is why it's easy for them to infiltrate, because the gangs are letting anybody next to them. There is no structure. There is no structure. So the feds is going to be able to infiltrate the gangs all the way out. The gang stuff, if you are gang banging, just expect for a case eventually. Straight up. If you are a gangbanger, you should be expecting a case eventually. Because there is no structure. Y'all let whoever around. How are y'all letting people around that's not affiliated, not banging, and to report on your business? For what? That there is basically letting it be documented for them people. For somebody else's content, man, that shit is watered down. Straight up.
Right, and be aware of. But you got some gangs that's like the 40s ain't tripping for Coimers because we where we at, they where they at.
Exactly, yeah.
We didn't have our issues. I'm pretty sure warnings in the county jail when random accident happen. That just happens, right? And that happens with us not knowing who each other's from. Mm-hmm. But when you start to do that, because you got to remember, he's from like Long Beach, he's from a border neighborhood of LA County.
Right.
He's the last city in LA County before you go to another county. So they're the bridge, right? Long Beach is Orange County, Pomona is San Bernardino County, right? So they're out the way, and internally, they dealing with Trey 5-7, Southside Villages, Pomona 12 Streets, the Sharks, SA. They got serious wars over there. It's bloody over there. It's a fact. But they don't need no miscellaneous search parties coming out when they're already dealing with what they're dealing with because somebody playing on the internet. Now, but you had a reason.
But Bob DiGiuno is a lot closer to home. So that everybody's kind of looking at that
there
like,
you have it.
That could be an issue.
There you have it. Yeah. That's what I told the homie. I'm like, bro, I don't understand what you doing. You letting this dude who ain't really on your level drag you down there with him, right? But what he don't understand, being from where he at, is that this a grimy, treacherous, two-faced gutter down here. Everybody got babies by certain people's sisters, relatives from across the street and over here, and you will get politicked on and won't even know you being lined up and fed to the wolves. And guess what? You can drive 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and you still ain't back in the comforts of your block. So you a long way from home to be down here playing. So, you know, hopefully they get it right because it's already things going on. It's a few wars going on. Summertime is here. We got the Hispanics going through what they going through. And I've been sitting back really on the edge because I don't know what that's going to lead to.
Really?
You get what I'm saying? Yeah, that could blow up on us all. Anybody that's black, anybody that's from the streets who's not on their toes watching what's going on in these streets, because it's a distraction going on, right? Everybody's distracted on what's going on downtown and what's going on in these little pockets with the protests. And while the distraction is going on, people might make the decision like, you know what? Since they ain't standing with us, then we gonna stand against them.
Oh, so you think we're on the verge of a race war of sorts?
It's possible, and you got to prepare yourself for the possibilities. I hope it doesn't happen, but it's possible because they could sit back and say, hey, they ain't standing with us, so they're against us. So you know what? While we dealing with ICE, we gonna deal with them too. Before they get us, right? They could be, and then we gonna go back. They could be on that. And I sat back and I kind of ran it through my mind, should we be out there on the front line with them? So I thought about Rodney King, I thought about George Floyd, and you know, you get your view, but that was a Negro thing, and that's what we had to deal with.
That was like 30 years ago.
It doesn't matter when it was.
Don't you feel like the Mexicans were out in force during the George Floyd protests?
Not at all. I didn't see them like that. I mean, you're going to see, I saw white people front line to keep it real, but I didn't see a movement to where La Raza was saying, hey, we out there with you, right? I didn't see that. And guess what? It wasn't their obligation or responsibility.
Everybody is...
Let me see. Let me see. Hold up. Hold up. Smash that like button. You in the building, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hold up.
You want to say, Reggie,
Tupac channel host.
that boy, what they went
About when this shit happened to Puff.
Hold up.
Puffy and how like
yeah, man. Cap was my godmom. So like, yeah, it was a real family at Death Row compared to what Bad Boy, what they went through. It seemed like it was a lot of insecurities and abuse.
now let's talk. There's a few characters, man. I mean, we don't know, but it just seems like your dad got some like frenemies. You know what I'm saying? It's like three names that pop up: David Kenner, Reggie White, and Wack 100. What's up with these three people, man? Let's go start with David Kenner.
Well, I'm gonna just be quick with it. Like, David Kenner was a lawyer. You know, that's a good friend of me, whatever you want to say. Reggie Wright, a childhood friend that grew up with my dad, you know, in the same neighborhood. Wack 100, I just don't consider him as a huge contender. You know, he came in after Death Row fell, and I believe that he was just more of an informant that was working with the feds to bring my father down. And there was nothing on my father to bring down.
Oh, shit. He said Wack was an informant trying to bring Suge down, but it wasn't nothing for him to get. Suge ended up getting himself in a situation.
Reggie Wright, a childhood friend that grew up with my dad, you know, in the same neighborhood. Wack 100, I just don't consider him as a huge contender. You know, he came in after Death Row fell, and I believe that he was just more of an informant that was working with the feds to bring my father down. And there was nothing on my father to bring down other than like all the shit that my dad went through. It was just him falling. It wasn't him doing anything illegal. So
you feel allegedly Wack was an informant to bring Death Row down?
yeah, because it just makes sense as I get older. And like, he only came around. I don't really know Wack. I know David. David was cool. He was family. You know, he took my mom and I to USC games when I was a kid. Gave me my first Suge chain. He bought me like when I was a 2-year-old kid. Reggie was always around, you know, at the Death Row stuff. It wasn't always beef. You know what I'm saying? Him and my dad, they were just childhood friends that just end up becoming mad at each other. And maybe my dad was his bully, you know what I'm saying? He used to call him pork butt and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't really know. I'm the son. I'm overhearing these things. Yeah. Wack, I just can't really say him too much. When I seen Wack as a kid, Wack had braids. You know what I'm saying? He bald now, and I'm like, I don't know, man. All these dudes that got something bad to say about my dad is either they was a friend or something like that, and something didn't go their way. And now they use that, either my dad probably punked them or something to the point where...
You know that's how I usually go, though. You know, I'm sure Suge was treating pork butt and Wack like peons, and they wouldn't say nothing in response. And you know, now they got a different courage to speak because Suge ain't around, and you know, they gonna say it like they would have said it if he was here, but they wouldn't have. And I might have to hit Lil Suge back to get him on here, because y'all remember he called in the other week. I might have to hit him back to get him on here, man, because he did call in for a quick second, and he texted me as well. So I might got to get him back on here.
They got to get revenge on him. And usually my dad probably messed with their wife or something like that. That's like Reggie. Like that's a known thing. My dad messed with his wife, and then that messed up a friendship. Same thing with Suge and Dre. You know what I'm saying?
So your dad messed with Reggie White's wife?
Yeah.
Ex-wife or current wife?
I think ex-wife. Okay. I'm not too sure. I don't know. I just know it wasn't a secret. I'm like, Pops, you gotta stop doing that. Now, as I got older, I'm a man now. I'm like, hey man, like, you wrong, Suge. Like, you wildin', bro. Like, you smacking everything that move, bro. Like, the fish stop moving when you go to people's houses, bro. Like, gotta chill.
On a side note, who's the most randomest, like, friend of your father's? Like, nobody would expect. It's like your dad's homie. Like, you just see pop up and it's like, damn, that's some random shit.
Man, Kent, that's a really hard question, because I wasn't too sure who was his friend for a long time. Yeah. You know, in this industry. But I could say maybe, I don't know. As I got older, I realized a lot of people was cool. Like probably MC Hammer was cool. Treach from Naughty by Nature, he was cool.
It's definitely Tretch. You said Treach.
Tretch.
Yes, Tretch.
Tretch, my bad. Tretch, my bad. I ain't trying to mess up their names. Petey Pablo was a funny one to me, because during that time I was like, oh, I know that rapper. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, man, I don't know, man. Them rappers are old. No.
So now, what is your thoughts on Snoop Dogg owning Death Row, the new Death Row? Like,
well, not new Death Row.
The original Death Row.
They're like, because I think I spoke with Lauren LaRosa from when she was working at TMZ. She had the Breakfast Club now. Yeah. I spoke to her about that. I said it was a win for the West Coast. So when he acquired it in 2020, I'm like, TMZ called me. How you feel, Suge? Are you punching the air or anything like that? No, I'm not punching the air. My dad ain't punching the air. It's a win for the West Coast. That's incredible news. Happy for him. Only thing I didn't like was that nothing happened. And it was just like, dude, you got all these rappers out here. You got all these people who out here need jobs or whatever. I don't need a job, but I'm like, bro, I would be a great contender because I know I brought it back to life. I started the merchandise with it. My pop-up shop was bigger than his when he was trying to do it. And I'm like, bro, And the reason why I knew everything is because it was under Entertainment One. My TV show was under Entertainment One. I knew everything about what was going on. I invited the producers. I invited everybody. They came to my pop-up shop like, wow, sure, this is on the corner of Melrose and Fairfax. Like, damn, yeah, it was costing me $20,000 a month. Like, I made some bread. Like, it was real. And when they acquired it in 2020, because that was in 2019, they acquired it in 2020. And I'm like, okay, well, what's up with the music? What you gonna do? And he didn't do anything other. He brought a guy from Def Jam because he was working at Def Jam. He brought a guy from Def Jam to make it sound like Marvin Gaye. And it's like, I don't think that was a smart thing to do. I'm not hating, but it's just like, dude, you have all of these rappers that are like killing it.
Yeah, Snoop brought Death Row, and we ain't heard nothing out of Death Row. Yeah, we ain't heard nothing out. It's like he shelved it. Like he bought it and shelved it, and I guess, making money off the music that was already there. But we ain't heard nothing come out of Death Row. Snoop paper up. So, he ain't really worried about it. He probably just wanted to get it to say he got it, I guess, and make the back end money off of whatever was already out there. Because you would have thought he would have got something cracking with it by now. 2020, that's 5 years ago.
In the industry, and I think you're just out of tune. So he kept wanting to stay safe with R&B when Death Row was like rap, boogie music, and then like you had heavy hitters. You had like rappers like Draco the Ruler coming out, killing it, like out here big, doing it big. You had RJ doing it big, 03 Greedo. That's like a new wave generation of people who was doing it. And then next thing you know, Snoop's not interacting with these dudes. It's the politics of it. And it's like, I don't get it. I seen Death Row as like, okay, we can bring the West Coast back. I'm a fan of the West Coast. Let's do this. Not like I'm trying to keep beefs going or whatever. You bought it, bro. Congratulations. But other than that, do something with it. It's 2025. Ain't nothing really happened. You even did a collab album with Dr. Dre called Missionary. That flopped. And I'm not even talking mess. It's just like, what's going on? What are y'all missing? Pac, y'all missing Suge. Y'all missing the right thing. So something that ain't clicking. And not all that politic and all that segregation in LA is it's the reason why the West is where it's at.
Word. Now, fairly recently, a couple months ago or so, you had a little controversy where you called out Ray J for the fade. How did that come about, man?
Well, I seen Ray J talking, online, and he was, when these dudes talk online, when they bring up my mom, I'm like, why are you bringing up my mom? And I was, I'm like this. I know the entertainment game, so I'm like, okay, Ray J needs some bread. I can use some bread too right now. All right, fuck, Ray J. If Jake Paul and the Paul brothers go set up these fights, let's set up a fight. And I'm like, it's 2 wins for me. I get to really whoop his ass, and I get to get some bread.
Ray J ain't setting up no fight in the ring. Wack, Ray J, they not doing no fights. They gonna sit there and play games behind the camera, but they not they not setting up no fights. Yeah. Not in the ring.
And get entertainment. It's a win-win. So that's why I call Ray J out, because I'm like, dude, you lying. And you've been lying, because you've been lying saying that you had the life rights on my dad's stuff. And this is all like causing this controversy, and you trying to use people in a negative light to get on, to keep your relevancy up. And I'm like, okay, well, I can use you. And they did, and it worked. I called you out, just like Justin Combs and them called you out. Well, they didn't do it. They seen Ray J. They didn't do nothing. Ray J see me, he'd be like, hey, what's up, Shaggy? What's up, fam? That's the thing. Like, in the outside world, people would look at it like, oh man, it's a real rumble. In the real life, they be like, no, Shuggy, you beat me up, man. I'm like, dude, I ain't trying to beat you up, bro. Like, I know you need some bread. Like, let's do this fight. Ray J versus Suge J. Let's do a play real quick, bro. But people, celebrity dudes, man, they get into this whole prima donna thing where they don't want to allow other people to shine. And he a generation that he not trying to not allow the new generation to shine. Cause he way older than me. He like 40 something. Yeah. So it's like I ain't ageism. I ain't doing no ageism like that. But it's like, bro, pass the torch, bro. Like you did Love and Hip Hop. Nigga, I did Love and Listings. Nigga, like, come on, bro. Like come on.
Now, Love and Listings is your VH1 show.
Yeah.
Now, what's up with the your dad's podcast, the one with Dave Mays?
Dave Mays, the Collect Calls. It's obviously I don't keep up with it. I support him in real life. I feel like I have two things I feel about it. I feel like he should, give people what they want, but don't give too much because you still gotta have your own story.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a lot of drama within it, but I'm like, it's hard to tell somebody to do. It's hard to tell him what to do, especially in prison. Because if you ever been in jail, it sucks to be in jail, especially if you have so much success. Yeah. You don't want to be in jail. And the Dave Mays, I can see that it's drama. I just hope that everybody learns their lesson and not to, stay out of their feelings and get back to doing what they need to do. Because if not, it's gonna fall like that, bro.
I know you and your father, you guys talk a lot. You guys have
we talk a lot here and there, not as much now. Like, I think that we have a good relationship, but it's just more like I do my own thing. I'm at a point in my life where I made different decisions compared to my father. I'm not saying he's a bad dad, but we're just two different guys. Mm-hmm. He had 7 foundations. What I mean by foundations is 7 different families and all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. Me, I'm just with one, ain't no shot. It's just more like I learned from my dad's mistakes. I'm not gonna say mistake, but his choices, I just make different choices. Yeah. And I respect him as my father, proud of him, but I have my own life that I live. And everything I do now is just to protect my name. Because my name is actually Suge. Mm-hmm. That's why I own the IP rights. That's why I own my name. And I'm very fair. And all I want to do is make sure that things are done the right way.
And then you have kids. How many kids do you have now?
I have 2 kids. So I have 2 daughters.
How old are they?
2 and 5.
Now how's that, being a father?
It's incredible, man. My first daughter was on TV with me. I brought her on. Everybody knew her. And then my second daughter, she didn't get to experience the TV part because I didn't want to exploit it. Mm-hmm. And it's incredible. I grew up, I grew up with all the riches and all that, but I didn't grow up with the father time. Mm-hmm. I had my dad times with my dads when we reconciled and got older, and I lived with him at one point in my life. But like this part of me, being a hands-on father, that's what's rich to me. Being able to provide, looking up in the roof, like, hey, everybody cool, everybody sleep, everybody all on me, they depend on me. It's a difference. And it makes me understand everybody else. It makes me understand every single other father that works in this world, even that's enemy to the Knights, how they survive. It's not, I learned to not take things personal. It's the way that they survive. Like Reggie Wright talking online. It may not be the truth, but it's the way how he has to survive. It may not be looked upon right. It's the way how he survives.
Yeah, we all know Reggie Wright, pork butt, and Wack 100. They be lying. That's one thing about them jokers. They lie. Yeah. And they don't care. They'll lie in a heartbeat, man. Straight up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button for me. Hit that like button. Smash the like button. And share this video. Yeah. Straight up. We know they both lie. Let me see. Let me see here. You know they lie. Let me see. Back on feed. Let's see. Yeah, you know them jokers will lie quick. You know they lie quick.
And then you fire What's you fire
4 extra, you just be 4 extra, just be 2 extra. 4 extra is just 2 extra. Two extra, yeah. He just 2 extra. Yeah, he's animated for real. Animated for real.
We want every side to come.
For 2.
Smoke, nigga.
Who that? And you have to pay dues. Where they do that at? Are y'all niggas in a motorcycle club or some shit? But let's continue. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. Forget about my degree in criminal justice. I don't know shit. On or about February 19, 2021, defendant Cal Ori, not charged in this count for some reason, directed Thorne to provide game dues to be used to pay for a website for Listen to Kids, a nonprofit organization that listed defendants Cal Ori as a CEO and Thorne as a secretary.
Wack is on
and directed Thorne to
4/5.
set up a bank account for the organization so that they could receive donations to be used to fund SMM. I wonder how they know all that. Y'all know y'all niggas aren't smart. Y'all from the Bronx, right? Be quiet. On or around March 8th, 2021, L. Jones sold cocaine to a confidential informant for $1,600. Overt Act 8. On or about April 30th, 2021, Howard sold marijuana to a confidential informant for $175. Overt Act 9. On or about July 28th, 2021.
Yeah, Wack is on the nigga Hocus 4/5. Now he's putting his shit out there now. Yeah. Brooklyn. Yeah. Now he putting his shit out there. Let me see. Yeah, let me see. Let me see here. Yeah, let me see here. Make sure you hit that like button. You're in the building, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Sean Rod was talking. So let me see. Let me see here.
We want every side.
Pretty much, he set somebody up to get unalived, and then showed up to the funeral and did the whole, the whole 1-2 with it. You know, crying with the mom and some more shit. You know, so, but whole time, you know, I guess he been catching hell behind this shit.
Hold up.
Okay,
Yeah, you paid to take
topic number 1. Christopher Love Boys got knocked out.
Oh yeah, we already know that one. We already know that one. Christopher Lovejoy got knocked out. We know that. We know that. Yeah, we know that.
051 Kiddo goes to King Von's gravesite to send a message to OTF members. So this has a long backstory. 051 Kiddo was actually locked up with Von. Okay, do you want to play the clip first? Is that a clip or is that a picture?
You got it.
Oh, okay. So if you know anything about the history of Von and Kiddo, they both was locked up in Cook County at the same time. They was actually cellmates. And Von wound up running a fade on one of Kiddo ops, which happened to be one of Von ops for Kiddo. So that caught a lot of traction once Kiddo revealed that information. But I believe the reason Kiddo did this is because Von dissed 051 Melly, who was the face of 051. So if you know anything about Chicago and the war in Chirac, 051 Melly became damn near a celebrity off allegedly just straight drilling. He didn't rap, he didn't do interviews, he did do a lot of...
Yeah, Wack don't want to sit up there with Brandon. He don't want to sit up there with Brandon. He said Brandon benching about 500. Wack don't want to sit up there with Brandon. Let me see. Yeah, he don't want to sit up there with Brandon.
If we doing, I don't want to say this WWF shit on the camera. You feel me?
All right, whoa.
You know what I mean?
I almost want to have this conversation on camera, but
I think we should.
I didn't know that it was WWF. I didn't know it was WWE. I didn't know you were snorting Vince McMahon perks. He got Vince McMahon perks.
You know what? I'm not mad at studio gangsters. This should be recorded, by the way. I'm not mad at studio gangsters. I'm not mad at people faking the funk about a lot of shit.
Record this
but
shit, man.
But you know what?
Yeah, let's get it.
I have a problem with people lying about their use. As a junkie, that's like stolen junkie valor.
So okay, let's get into that. You feel like we betrayed you because
you always try to say it like a
you left these on the table. But you don't get it. You don't get it.
It wasn't no betrayal.
I thought I came up on 7. Yeah, 7 free perks.
Man, people know perks don't look like that, man.
But I'm not that big of a perk expert.
If this the WWE, it's all entertainment, you feel me? I'm just entertaining, you feel me? I'm trying to make sure the masses are popping Percocets, man. The masses, bitch.
Wait, but no, I think that's the real you. That was your real voice.
That was the real
He just whipped out the real voice.
You did. I'm trying to get the masses to do pills.
Because, okay, look at that. For actually, one of the reasons that he gave they didn't want to fight you was they said you were a smoker. I said, I don't really think he's a smoker.
Yeah, this dude here is definitely a character.
Okay, you were kind of fiend out for one of the mushroom MDMA gummies, which I never actually gave you.
Oh, no. Oh, you heard about that?
Well, you asked me.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't end up giving you one because we're in the same hotel, but it's like, you know, we can't meet. We got to meet all the way down there.
Because I figured, look.
Wait a second, Pill, because Pill just told me his first ever shroom story.
Also, I didn't think of this until right now, but you are King Pill.
King Pill, man, we in this motherfucker again.
It's tough to be King Pill when you're rolling around with Tylenol.
Hey, man, all fucking pills, man. I'm just all fucking pills.
That's your defense mechanism. You switch back over into white boy mode.
You always gonna forgive the white boy.
Damn, he's got the formula.
You feel me?
He's not supposed to know all that. Did you tell him?
As soon as you get called out on some shit, you gotta just laugh it off.
Man, that's it, man.
No.
But yeah, it's good to be back
But
up
wait,
here, man.
King Pill, which shroom story?
Yeah, tell me a shroom tale.
Because you just told me a shroom tale.
I mean, shit, man, I can't really go into much detail like I was going into detail off the camera, you feel me? Because it was like a little tricky situation. But I just know, like, that shit really be throwing me down the rabbit hole, you feel me? Like sometimes I'll do some shit on the internet and I really wouldn't think about it. You feel me? I'll be like, in my clear mind. Cause right now when I'm clear, I'm like in my prison mind. And I like to keep that kind of mind frame because I'm more aggressive. I'm more of an alpha male. You feel me?
The shrooms water you down.
Man, the shrooms make it like, why did you do that? You shouldn't have did that. You're gonna have to kill somebody, or they might try to kill you. Like, they got a nigga thinking hard as a motherfucker, man. I be like, bro, this is too much for me right now, man.
They got you
start
second
saying
guessing.
crazy shit like I'm the king of Babylon.
If 4X wasn't scared of him, he should have took the fight. Straight up, he should have took the fight, man. Cause 4X think that he supposed to get a bigger fight than he's getting presented with. Like, this is the fight you supposed to take. Aaron the plumber said he ain't fighting him. Man, I ain't fighting 4X. I ain't even gonna give him the clout. This nigga keep going in and out of jail, and it's like on some real stuff. That little buzz that he had a couple times ago when he got out, that shit dead. And maybe he don't understand it. You know, you keep going to jail, Adam gotta move on to other people. You know? That hype shit he was doing, man, that shit dead, man. Yeah. He gonna fade his way on out of there. So he better go ahead and take the fight that's in front of him. For real. You better take the fight that you got in front of you and go ahead and, you know, get some paper-wise there. And that there might take you to the next step. But, man, he think he's bigger than he is. But maybe he's scared Bull gonna knock him out. And he don't want to, you know, take that fade and lose from somebody that he feel that isn't equal to him.
King of the metaverse. All
This is
kind
Africa?
of crazy shit, man.
Oh, yeah.
No, I never said that.
Well, according to 607.
Oh, Babylon. Oh, shit.
What is going on in your pocket?
Man. You know, fucking ass darling. All right, let's get out.
607 Unk, who did not come to Polymer's Park today.
Who's everybody making music? He said he was gonna come and then he chickened out.
I mean, yeah, this shit, the homies would have been on his ass, boy. They would have been talking crazy. But it's all good. It would have been love, but my homies like to talk crazy. Lush, you know.
They be popping it.
But he's from St. Louis. Although
they still gonna talk crazy.
He did reveal that 710 is like a Hoover Crip thing, right?
So 607. So there's 107
607s,
Hoover, and then there's the 60s. So out there, Crips and Hoovers don't beef.
But that's kind of good y'all done bring it, because I'm not really trying to bring like a Crip to my hood, you feel me? That's not like something that I would do, you feel me?
Nobody would have known.
Yeah,
He would have been a totally secret Crip. Everybody would think he was
that episode. I would bring it up.
But people think he's like a bisexual witch doctor. That's his vibe.
Right.
He ain't really like most of the Crips I met. I never met a Crip that zesty.
He just do his
and that includes Tony Woolrich. Yeah.
There's two I know.
Crip, yeah, but didn't Crip back is y'all had some dude up here from Texas.
That's what I'm saying is that 607 Unk is actually gayer than a gay Crip.
Yeah, I think 607 Unk just be like trying to get his message across in a freaky way. You feel me?
That's
like,
gay.
I mean, shit, man. I don't know if it's gay, bro.
It's gay to have a message.
He said he would try to get his message
Well,
across in a freaky
bro,
way.
what did you just say? You said he needs to get his message across in a freaky way.
Well, I mean, shit in an entertaining way. You know what I'm saying? If you just have somebody on here like, hey, before the sun goes down, you got to be in the house or you're going to pass out. Like, yeah, if you get him on here and he's tweaking and freaking and saying it, and you're going to watch it a little bit more. Like,
Well, I'll put it like this: is that so Munchie B is blind, obviously, and he was sitting next to 607 Unk, and then this morning he basically said like, yo, like y'all can't have me sitting next to Unk like that, which I take it to mean that like people hit him up and basically were like, bruh, like you didn't look right sitting next to this dude who's doing all this weird, like he's like pretending to have like psychotic episodes in the middle of the podcast. He's got his belt half off. He's doing weird gyrating dance. At one point he gets on his knees in front of Aunt Hefe. I'm like, okay, this might really get your ass kicked right here.
Man,
I thought that moment was about to get tense.
Man, Aunt Hefe like that. Fat Hefe, he likes you.
Oh, I forgot. That's
Shout
your boy.
out Fat Hefe.
Nah, he got a fade for you, I'm pretty sure.
Well, here you go.
He gonna turn
Setting
you
up another fade that ain't gonna
He
go
gonna turn you
through.
into a toaster strudel.
Setting up another fade that ain't gonna happen.
Hey.
That might be actually, since
Now I ain't saying I ain't gonna say Fat Hefe a chicken out of the fade. I know he'd take a 50,000, 100,000
For
fast.
sure, yeah.
But it wouldn't be the same kind of it wouldn't be the same kind of audience that I'm looking for. You feel?
oh, you're doing the exact same thing that 4Extra did, bro.
Picking out
Just
fights.
saying,
No, listen to you,
not
bro.
necessarily, because that's not his lane. That's not Fat Hefe lane.
Not
He
yet.
never been like on here talking about like. There's not too many people that's like, oh, he had a lot of knockouts in jail. No, he was fucking shit over.
And Hefe's with me now,
Bro,
so
that's cool.
he's about to engage in clout chasing, the likes of which the world has never seen.
Oh,
Especially him. He's never seen.
sounds like King Village.
Just kidding. I would like to clarify that Dan Hefe is not my puppet, and that I am speaking in jest. Because
Nah,
everybody who becomes part of No Jumper, I'm like very terrified that people are going to get in their ears and basically start telling them, oh, Adam's playing you like a fiddle. He's got you doing all his stupid ass circus act dancing, etc.
Yeah, it's a huge deterrent to me. It's really.
No, you good. You good. Yeah. You good. Yeah. All right, I ain't worried about
At the end of
you.
the day, it's just a fucking
Here, take
job.
these.
Yeah,
Oh,
you'll be all
the
right.
plastic part too, or the zipper?
Just eat the whole bag.
Yeah,
It's
see,
a slow release.
They
Slow
think
release.
they Tyler dolls, right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Them is fentanyls.
No, you got the nickname now. You're Lil Tylenol, right?
King Pilotan, Lil Fentanyl.
Lil Tylenol.
Man, who gave me that name?
I forget already.
Was it the shit man?
Man, this nigga is happy to be popping pills. This nigga's retarded, man. Yeah, this nigga's retarded, man. Yeah, this nigga's retarded. He's retarded. Yeah, he's retarded. Hold up, man. Yeah, tripping. Fuck out of here, man. Fuck out of here, man. Hey, shit, yeah. Fuck out of here, man. Crazy. You see? Yeah, fuck out of here. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, he tripping. He tripping.
Holy shit, this is hot garbage. But I can't stop listening.
Yes, Charleston White is correct. I'm a rapper, not a drug dealer. Yes, Charleston White.
I'm trying to see, Charles and White say, yeah.
He's this, he's that.
Yeah, they
the
are.
internet is a lie. Everybody claims on the internet they don't eat McDonald's, but when you go to McDonald's, it's packed.
Yeah.
Everybody say the food is fake. But McDonald's they still in business.
They
Somebody
still
lying.
sell 1 million burgers a day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody lying. So I take that with you. When on the internet, all I see is negativity, but in person,
it's number love.
Number love.
All the hate that I receive and all the hate that's projected on to me is online. In person, homie, homie, they've disarmed me with love, homie, with so much love. So I don't really walk around with weapons like I used to no more. I hardly even carry a gun anymore because I get so much love in person. But in the beginning, before I started traveling and doing shows and going places, and I didn't know people had admiration, nigga, I was on edge with carrying guns. You know that. I ain't go nowhere. You would see me at the gun show. So now, nigga, I don't even carry a gun. And that's foolish.
Let me see, hold up. Alright, let me see. Trump done launched some shit off. Trump done launched some shit off. Let me see here. say here? Hold up. What they say here. Breaking. Trump announced strike on 3 nuclear sites in Iran. Straight up. Let's see here. He said, we have completed a very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload was dropped on the primary site. Fordo, all planes are safely on their way home. So Trump said he done went through and dropped some shit. Trump ain't playing. He is not playing. He said what he say. Trump announced the attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran via Truth social media today. The president said all planes involved are out of the Iranian airspace. This attack comes just days after Iran warned the United States of an all-out war if the U.S. joined forces with Israel. We will keep you updated as more is revealed. So they threatened the United States and Trump just went at them. Man, they ain't playing no games. Man, they done send a threat to the U.S. and Trump done went all the way through with it. Let me see if I can see something on this, man. You said your son is in the military, Brooke. Was he deployed somewhere? Trump ain't playing no games. He ain't playing no games. Let me see. Hold up. You know Trump ain't taking no threats lightly. He ain't taking no threats lightly. Let's see, hold up. Trump says U.S. Yeah, they ain't taking no threats lightly. Let me see. Let's see what this say right here. It was reported earlier that the U.S. was sending B-2 stealth bombers to the U.S. island of Guam. The only aircraft capable of carrying the bombs needed to destroy Iran's Fordo nuclear facility. Israel and Iran continue to exchange fire through the night. Earlier, Israel said it had targeted a weapons depot and military infrastructure. Earlier, Iran foreign minister said U.S. involvement in the Israel-Iran conflict would be very, very dangerous. While in Istanbul to meet the Turkish president, Israel military said they knocked off 3 top Iranian military officials, including Saud Izzadi, described as being one of the architects of the 7th October attack. BBC Verified has identified fresh damage to several buildings at an Iranian nuclear plant in the central city of Isfahan. In Iran, more than 400 people have been knocked off and 3,000 injured by Israel's strike. Authorities say in Israel, 25 people have been knocked off by Iranian strike and 2,500 injured since the conflict began. So it done got real. It done got real. It done got real. Let me see what they say. Live reporting. They said it could have crippled the Iran nuclear program. How did the U.S. weapons possibly work? The massive ordnance penetrator is the most talked about weapon of the past week, and the one that could well have been used in the U.S. strikes tonight. The GBU-57, as it is officially designated, stands for Guided Bomb Unit, and the 57, the design numbers it went through. Only the U.S. can effectively deploy the GBU-57, and that is from B-2 Spirit stealth bombers based at Whiteman Air Force in Missouri. There have been numerous reports that half a dozen have been launched from Whiteman with no confirmation through the destination. In simple terms, deployment is as follows. A target is selected, a desired impact, coordinates are punched into the targeting system of the bomber, and these are transferred to the weapon. Precision guidance is by satellite navigation. Dropping the very heavy bombs from high altitude, typically 50,000 feet, gives it a huge amount of kinetic energy derived through motion, which allows the penetrator to punch deep through the ground. A specially hardened external casing maintains the bomb structure integrity on impact. Delay fusion inside the tail and allows the 5,300 pound of high explosives to be detonated and the correct depth. More than one weapon might well have been needed to be dropped. The first to create a large path for a second or more to ensure destruction of any facility. All would have go through the same impact point. So they done dropped something heavy over there. They not playing. Man, people knew when Trump got in there, man, he was going to definitely be messy. People knew when Trump got in there, he wasn't playing no games. If you say anything slick about the United States, he was going at you. And they said that the U.S. didn't want to get involved, so he started it. And all right, here we come. He said, y'all say y'all want the U.S. to get involved. All right, we started it. We're going to start it. We'll put it like that. Fordo is gone. Truth repost. It says, we just reported Iran Fordo nuclear facility has already been targeted. They ain't playing no games. That's a hell of a mission, man. To go somewhere like that and drop something out there and destroy some shit. Man. That's a hell of a mission, though, for the people that do that shit. That's a hell of a mission, especially flying somewhere and knowing that you gotta fly out there and drop some shit. Hold up. God damn. That's a hell of a mission. Now I'm trying to see, is this something that programmed to go on his own or what? They said they got money for war, but they can't feed the poor. You know, that's how they keep the world running. I tell you that. You know what I mean? They don't mind if the people struggle. I see that. They do not mind. People be out there struggling, don't got nothing. They do not mind. Yeah, or you said it was happening. You did say that. He said, yeah, you did say that, man. The bunker buster. They ain't playing no games. Trump is not playing no games. You know he is. I'm trying to see if I see something, man. Let me see if I see something. Hold up.
Reaction there from Iranian state TV, it kind of plays into what you were saying, which is these posts have to be taken with some skepticism until they're actually confirmed.
Well, I think skepticism on all sides. We don't know what the Iranians are really talking about. If they had moved the material, it would be fair to assume, at least, that Israeli intelligence would have seen that in some fashion, because they've been keeping eyes over Iran. Again, satellites, reconnaissance flights, radars, personnel possibly covertly on the ground. They've been keeping eyes on Iran for some time in the run-up to all of this and sharing that intelligence with the U.S. Because what does it take to actually drop a bomb on this Fordo target? We know it's deep underground. So U.S. intelligence, U.S. military intelligence had to know the exact formation, if you will, of the rock, of the geology, the dirt, how deeply buried it was. What was the exact GPS precision point that they wanted to strike at the site to do the maximum damage? If the Iranians had moved material out, it's difficult to see how Israel might not have known that. Now, you know, they may well have, and that will be a problem. And they might have been doing things at multiple sites that intelligence services were not fully aware of. This has been going on for some time in Iran, where they have dispersed their program to various sites. So again, it's really a question of what now? One thing to drop a bomb, quite another thing to figure out what it all means and where you go from here. Will there have to be additional U.S. strikes? That may be a key question tonight.
Okay, Barbara Starr, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and insight. I'm going to ask you
see
one
that
more
plane?
question on this.
Sure.
The likely political reaction here in Washington, D.C. across party lines.
Well, I
see
think
that
the
plane in
one
there, though.
fundamental that underlies
That shit
all
look
of this
ill.
in Washington tonight is no one really wants to see another war, U.S.-involved war in the Middle East. After the years of Iraq and Afghanistan, both on the Democratic and Republican side, there's just no appetite for that. No one wants to see that. But here's the problem. It's that old saying, you break it, you bought it. So if this goes badly in some fashion, if there is Iranian retaliation against U.S. interests, that is the big concern, against U.S. bases, U.S. troops in the region, U.S. shipping, U.S. assets, or even allied assets. If the Iranians were to retaliate in some fashion, and it becomes a problem in terms of what does the Trump administration do next, easy to get into a combat situation, which they did tonight. Very difficult to get out of it, because any top commander will tell you the enemy gets a vote.
Okay, Barbara Starr, experienced broadcaster on these matters. Thank you very much for joining us here on BBC News. Well, let's go live now to Israel and speak to my colleague Mark Lowen, who is in Tel Aviv for us. Mark, first of all, what reaction have we had from the Israelis?
No official reaction yet, Rajini. It is, of course, the middle of the night here, and Israelis will be waking up or will be woken to this news in the same surprising fashion as the rest of us. But of course, the Israeli government may indeed have been forewarned, because this was what they had been wanting. They had been wanting to co-opt the Americans into this deployment. They'd been wanting to use those B-2 bomber planes to drop those bunker-busting bombs that they lack. They'd been wanting desperately to take out Fordo, in particular, the nuclear site very buried into the mountain, perhaps as low as 90 or 100 meters underground. We don't yet know how many bombs, and indeed which bombs, were dropped on the 3 nuclear sites. We assume it would be those 13.5-ton munitions that only the Americans possess. They're the largest non-nuclear weapons in the American arsenal.
Fighter jet.
There was a discussion for days and actually back in the previous US administrations as to how many of those bombs would be needed to potentially destroy Fordo. There was talk even of mock Fordo models being given to the Obama administration years ago, with sort of presentations in the Oval Office showing what a destruction of that nuclear site could look like were the Americans to drop the bomb.
B-2 bomb.
And Trump has done it, it appears. We won't know exactly more detail on that until it comes from the president's posts or the president's statements. But, you know, 2 days after he gave Iran this 2-week window for diplomacy, he has gone in. It changes the dynamic of this war entirely. It makes it completely unpredictable. Indeed. We now don't know what the reaction will be from Iran. We don't know what their military reaction will be. And so we are in very, very uncharted territory now.
Mark, I'm just going to jump in because we're seeing on one of the agencies that an Iranian official cited by the Tasnim news agency has confirmed that part of the Fordo nuclear site was attacked by, I quote, enemy airstrikes. We've heard that these attacks were the US acting in coordination with Israel. Just tell us more about that from an Israeli perspective, given that's where you are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to see actually whether there has been any kind of word yet from the Israeli government, and I'm just going to ask my team here to keep an eye on that and to feed me any lines that are coming in. I mean, the Israelis had been pushing for this for a very long time. You know, they had been. There have been statements in the last couple of days from various Israeli officials saying, you know, they believe that Trump will be on the right side of history. They believe that Trump would be listening and sending in the military at the right time. Of course, you know, in the United States, there's not the same kind of cross-party political fervor for this. Here in Israel, polls show that the majority of Israelis want this war and want the destruction of the Iranian nuclear sites. About 70% of Israelis were backing this war against Iran. In the US, of course, you've got the splits in the MAGA movement.
I'm just going to jump in because you probably haven't seen this yourself, but I'm seeing that Yoav Gallant, Israel's former defense minister, has said the world is now a safer place. He said it is a bold decision for the US, for Israel, and for humanity. So starting to get some reaction, Mark.
Yes, Yoav Gallant, you know, kicked out of the government here as defense minister on difficult terms with Benjamin Netanyahu, but very much portraying that kind of united political support that I was mentioning here. You know, it is the Iran war has cross the political lines here. So Yoav Gallant, it appears, is the first of the Israeli ex-ministers to react. We haven't yet had anything from the foreign minister or the current defense minister. We've got some lines coming into us saying that there are changes to the home front command instruction, determined that at 3:45 a.m. local time, so that was literally 10 minutes ago, immediate changes will be made to the home front command instructions. That's basically the national security advice which is given to Israelis as to how close they should be to bunkers and how free they should be to operate. And they say that as part of the changes, it was decided to shift all areas of the country from partial and limited activity to essential activity. That a recognition that what has happened in the last hour greatly increases the risk and the vulnerability to Israelis. So the instructions include a prohibition on activities, gatherings and workplaces, except for essential structures. So we're beginning to get a sense of how the strikes there.
Okay, let me see if I can see something else. Let me see if I can see something else, man. Yeah, I don't even know why they try to challenge Trump. Trump ain't playing. He said it's that Gemini shit. I don't even know why they trying to challenge you, man. Straight up.
Breaking moments ago, new reports from open source plane spotters show 6 B-2 stealth bombers from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri appearing to head toward a U.S. Air Force base in Guam. The B-2 can carry 2 15-ton bunker buster bombs that could be used to target Iran's heavily fortified Fordo nuclear site. This is a second U.S. aircraft carrier will arrive in the Middle East this weekend. President Trump will return later today to the White House for an intelligence briefing. Welcome to Fox News Live on a busy news weekend. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington. New airstrikes from the Israeli Air Force against missile storage and launch infrastructure in Iran overnight as the IDF says it has killed a commander of the Quds Force, who is a key coordinator of weapons deliveries to Hamas. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Palkot is live in Tel Aviv with more. Hello, Greg.
Hello, Mike. Yeah, we are into now day 9 of the war between Israel and Iran, and there are more raids on key Iranian targets as well as individuals. The Isfahan nuclear facility was hit for the second time by Israel. The IAEA confirms real damage was done to the centrifuge construction facility. And another assassination by Israel. Saeed Izzadi, a Revolutionary Guard commander who played a key role in the deadly October 7 Hamas attack against Israel, was taken out. And the IDF claims to have shot down nearly all 40 Iranian drones headed towards Israel this morning. Tehran has had less success with these relatively slow-moving projectiles. Now, here in Tel Aviv, after we watched overnight a barrage of some 5 Iranian missiles, all knocked down by Israeli defenses, it has been relatively quiet, knock wood. Evening usually sees more activity. And as you noted, Mike, Fox News, citing sources, is reporting that 6 B-2 stealth bombers have left their home base in Missouri, said to be headed to Guam, which is a bit closer and a bit of an easier run to Iran. Now, Mike, that aircraft is the only one that can deploy the much-discussed bunker-busting bombs needed to take out Iran's deeply dug and crucial Fordo nuclear facility. Back to you.
Greg Palkot starting us off live in Tel Aviv. Greg, many thanks. President Trump will head back to Washington later today for a briefing on Iran after announcing he would wait up to 2 weeks on a decision to strike the Middle Eastern country. Nate Foy is traveling with the president in Bedminster, New Jersey. Hello, Nate.
Hey, Mike, good afternoon. So, yeah, the pieces on the chessboard and the posturing ahead of a
potential decision from President Donald Trump, which he promises is coming in the next 2 weeks, continues to develop with, according to that open source flight tracking data, those 6 B-2 bombers, and according to the data that we are seeing in the refueling pattern of those planes, it appears that they left without a full fuel tank, which could indicate that they are in fact carrying those bombs on board. But the White House has not confirmed this independently. We are working for that confirmation. But President Trump is at his Bedminster Club here today in New Jersey. He's going back to the White House later today, where he will meet with his national security team. And he spoke yesterday about that 2-week timeline that he's promised. Listen here.
Mr. President, what was the thought process behind the 2-week timetable?
Just time to see whether or not people come to their senses. I'm giving them a period of time. We're going to see what that period of time is, but I'm giving them a period of time. And I would say 2 weeks would be the maximum.
Now, Mike, Trump also pushed back on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's comments that Israel is capable of destroying Iran's Fordo nuclear facility on its own. The president said Israel has a limited capacity. He also said his own national intelligence director was wrong when she testified before Congress in March, saying that Iran was not pursuing a nuclear weapon. Listen here.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Now, Gabbard responded on X, writing in part, quote, "The dishonest media is intentionally taking my testimony out of context and spreading fake news as a way to manufacture division. America has intelligence that Iran is at the point that it can produce a nuclear weapon within weeks to months." Now, in that same testimony before Congress in March, Gabbard testified that Iran has an unprecedented amount of enriched uranium. And the White House is pointing to that as evidence that there's no daylight between her and the president in his view of Iran's capabilities in regards to her previous testimony. Trump is set to leave Bedminster for the White House later this afternoon. We'll send it back to you, Mike.
Nate Foy live in the Garden State with the president. Nate, thanks very much.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart.
Yo. They done set it off. But you know, Trump said he was going to do it. He going to do it, man. He ain't playing. You fucking around with Trump, man. He not playing with them people, man. Straight up. Trump is not playing with them people.
And he was always due back to the White House tonight at 6 p.m., so 3 hours ago. Now, what we understood from that was that he was coming back, and we were told he was coming back for a briefing of his Security Council in the Situation Room. But we did not expect that would be the point at which he would, in fact, not just authorize these strikes, because presumably that happened a few hours before that, but would have watched these strikes taking place in real time from the Situation Room. So a remarkable turn of events over the course of the past 24 hours. It was just yesterday that he, through his press secretary, announced that he would give diplomacy up to 2 weeks.
Hey, Leonard, what you think gonna happen because of it? What you think the mistake was? You know, let us know. We want to hear about it. What you think the mistake was that he made?
To run its course. And, you know, I've been looking back at messages that I've had and discussions I've had with sources both here in Washington, but in European capitals as well over the course of the past few days. And they're all saying the same thing. They're all saying that the sense that they had got from discussions with the Trump administration was that he was emphatically of the view that diplomacy should be given a chance. And yet tonight, we discover that he has in fact gone for this strike. Now, I think the way Donald Trump may or may not frame this when he speaks in an hour or so's time, but I think his mindset will be will be.
He said, "Imagine if America protected the people of America as much as Israel, though. They pick and choose what they want to do. The people of America be around here sleeping on the corner, at the bus stop, starving, and They don't want to help them. But, you know, man, what can you say? It's crazy. You said it's going to make the cost of living go up here. Food, etc. So everything going up. It already been going up. So you said it's going to go up even more. Cause shit already going up. Straight up. Shit going up.
Of that this is just a moment that, yes, he still believes diplomacy can be given a chance, and that this decisive strike will in fact draw the Iranians into heel. But as we've been discussing, it is a big gamble. A couple of other updates just to bring you, which I think are interesting. The Speaker, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, very, very important, of course, here in domestic politics. He has released a statement. We know he was briefed by President Trump. He says the military operations in Iran should serve as a clear reminder to our adversaries and allies that President Trump means what he says. He goes on to say the president gave Iran's leader every opportunity to make a deal, but Iran refused to commit to a nuclear disarmament agreement. He concludes the statement by saying, God bless our brave men and women in uniform, the most lethal fighting force on the planet, as we pray for their safe return home. May God bless America. So, of course, Mike Johnson, Republican, closely aligned with Donald Trump, and clearly very pleased with what has happened tonight. There will be some on Capitol Hill who are not. Donald Trump has authorized this strike tonight without congressional approval. Now, there are some who believe that that is wrong, that he should have gone to Congress before authorizing any military action in the Middle East. He chose not to do that. He will argue that there is good reason for that, but I think, you know, it's a discussion for down the line, but it's certainly an interesting one. One last point I want to make, Yalda, you and I have been discussing over the course of the past few days the splits within Donald Trump's coalition, the different voices in his ears. He's been told by the likes of Ted Cruz and other influential Republicans, go for it. This is your moment to strike Iran. This is your moment to make a difference. And yet in the other ear, he's been very influential MAGA voices saying, do not do it. Well, Steve Bannon, his former chief strategist, is one of those big voices saying, absolutely do not get involved. Tonight, he's been live on his own podcast. Interesting comment. He says, we have now become combatants in this war between Israel and the Persians. I guess you say it's now a broader war. And then he goes on to say, although it looks like the president is trying to keep this to a very tactical strike. So we're going to begin to see the way that the MAGA voices, who are so influential in influencing Donald Trump's thinking, how they're reacting to this pivotal moment.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, a crucial moment right now. Mark, thank you so much. We're just going to keep you there for a moment. I also understand Donald Trump has continued to give some phone interviews. Earlier, he spoke to Axios. He's just spoken to Reuters in a phone call, and he said this was an amazing success tonight. They should make peace immediately. They should stop immediately. Otherwise, they'll get hit again. So Donald Trump issuing another warning to Iran, saying that this was a successful operation. It was amazing, as he said, and he said they should make peace immediately. They should stop immediately. Otherwise, they'll get hit again. We'll continue to bring you those updates as they come. But let's just bring in Alan Eyre from the Middle East Institute and former senior U.S. diplomat. He joins us now. Alan, thank you very much for joining us. Just give us your reaction to the developments of the last hour.
Suffice it to say, I'm unpleasantly surprised by these events. I was hoping that this administration would not do that. I don't think that this strike will in any way, well, at least permanently end Iran's nuclear program. They'd already moved much of the relevant material out of their nuclear sites. I don't think this will lead for the Iranians to sue for peace. So it's now in the Iranians' hands. The Iranian leadership that existed about 10 days ago would have been relatively prudent and not rush to attack U.S. forces. I think that's still the case. I think an immediate widespread attack on U.S. forces in the region is unlikely, but I think the probability of a wider escalation and continuation of this war is greater now than it was a few hours ago.
And Alan, no doubt the conversations that the president would have asked questions about the day after. And part of that calculation would have been, I guess, even though this is the roll of the dice, that he wouldn't want to see this prolonged into a bigger conflict that would drag the United States in. Are you saying that you're concerned that the day after now looks like a more destabilized region?
I don't think there was significant, or at least significant talk about the day after, at least with the requisite expertise. I think that whatever form of Iranian government survives, whether it's this one or a more nationalist, a more militarized one, or whether this regime in fact stays in power, they're not necessarily more likely to give up their nuclear program. So if President Trump thinks this will cause the Iranians to sue for peace and give up their nuclear energy program, I don't see that happening. But again, there's just so much that's unknown. President Trump obviously is seeing intelligence that I don't, and so decided to roll the dice. The question now is, does Israel stop bombing? I mean, I saw some Israeli sources saying they consider the nuclear program eliminated, but what's nuclear's war goal? What is Israel trying to get out of this? They're not just trying to end Israel's nuclear program, they're also trying to, as they've admitted, destabilize the current Iranian government.
I just want to unpack some of the things you've said. So, first of all, the idea that, and that has been floating around in the last few days, with the Iranians themselves saying that they would be moving some of the material out of these sites. Just talk us through that in terms of, you know, these sites have been hit, especially Fordow was in these sites of the United States and Israel. But you believe that material, the essential material that was needed has already been moved to other places?
I think it's highly likely. I think that Iran's nuclear program the hardware is geographically dispersed, and it's impossible to eliminate it to the extent that it can't be reconstituted if there is a political will by the Iranian government to do so. Obviously, we can talk about greater or lesser amounts of time it would take to reconstitute that, but the key variable here is, will Israeli and U.S. military action be such that it causes the people running Iran to renounce the nuclear program? And I don't think we're there yet. And I don't think you can get there kinetically by bombing Iran.
And Alan, you have dealt with the Iranians. You're privy to the JCPOA, the nuclear deal that President Obama struck. Just talk us through, the interactions then, and was there a sense that they were willing then versus where they are now?
Certainly, back then they were willing to cap the amount they enriched, the type of centrifuges they had, the level to which they enriched uranium, and also to accept vastly greater verification measures and vastly greater transparency into their nuclear program in exchange for the lifting of sanctions. So when we were doing this, neither side got all they wanted. As President Obama said, he would have preferred to not have one centrifuge spinning. But back then we got a deal that was good enough, and the key variables back then were we were able to drastically limit the efficiency, the scope, the activities of Iran's nuclear program, and also vastly increase our ability to look into it. And I think it's likely now, though it's too soon to tell, that we're going to lose, obviously, that ability, that transparency, our ability to look into Iran's nuclear program on the day after.
You also mentioned there that perhaps Israel is not just looking at the elimination of Iran's nuclear program, but also has openly talked about regime change at different points and destabilizing the regime. But do you feel that that is also not plausible?
I mean, there's no perhaps. The Israeli Minister of Defense said we're looking to eliminate the nuclear program, eliminate their missile production capabilities, and eliminate their axis of terrorism, and also destabilize the Iranian regime and drive people out of Tehran. there's no indication yet for on that last goal, destabilizing the government, that they've been successful. According even to Israeli press, I was reading something recently in the Jerusalem Times. So far, the Israeli intelligence is indicating that the current Iranian regime is still firmly in control of all its organs of power. Obviously, it's taken a great hit kinetically. But if the Israeli government is trying to topple this regime and replace it with a more user-friendly government to the West and to Israel, there's no indications that we're starting to see that yet. There's been a significant rally around the flag effect by the Iranian people, and at least anecdotally, I hear that whereas before there was a lot of pro-Israeli sentiment in Iran, at least more so than in the neighboring Arab countries, there certainly is far less of that now.
Alan, we're really grateful for your analysis and thoughts. Thank you very much for joining us here on the program.
Yo. Oh, man. We're going to see how far this go. We're going to see how far this go, man. Yeah. And I'm going to check back on this when I come back. Yeah. I'm hungry. I'm ready to go get something to eat. Get my head right. And y'all know we're going to come back 12:30 a.m. West Coast time. 12:30 a.m. East Coast time. 9:30 p.m. West Coast time. Yeah. So we'll be back. I gotta get me something to eat. Let me recharge. Let me get back. And yeah, we're gonna be back at it, man. They going to war. America wanted to go to war. We gotta go to war, man. What can we say? We can't do nothing about it. Trump pushed the button on it. Trump pushed the button on it. We can't do nothing about it, man. And things gonna go up, but they'll go back down. You know? Things gonna go up, but they'll come back down. They always do. Yeah. Yeah. Make sure y'all hit that like button too. If you're in the building, smash the like button. Hit the subscribe button. And we'll be back. Straight up. And you know I appreciate all of y'all. Big facts. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, man. Go check out the merch, sbgbtv.com. You know, membership pinned at the top of the chat. I appreciate everybody. And we will be back in a few. Big facts. We'll be back in a few, man. Y'all know how we do. Yeah. Hit that subscribe button, man. Hit that like button. Share this video. And y'all know what it is. It's not about the setback. It's about the get back. Now.